We're gonna do the first part of this complete. This is a 98 Dodge Ram. I'm gonna use Sunfire Pro Solvent. And we're gonna show you how easy this shit is because it's really super simple compared to waterborne base coat. What are the differences? Well, waterborne base coat covers a hell of a lot faster, which makes it way more difficult to blend. It likes to model a little bit more, actually a lot bit more. It's overall just kind of a pain in the ass compared to solvent. The reason I chose solvent to do this job with is I can fix it easily. So after I get my epoxy based sealer, my DTM sealer laid down on this stuff, and I spray my base coat, if something like dirt, dust, whatever, lands in that solvent base coat, once that flashes, it sands a whole hell of a lot better than waterborne base coat, and it's way cheaper. It's probably double the price to do it in water, so that's why we're using solvent. Still covers great, still gonna look amazing. All right guys, so we have sealer mixed up. Like I said, this is a DTM epoxy base sealer from Sunfire Pro. All right, so I went and set my pressure at the wall, set at 25 PSI according to the gauge. Got a Guami 4, 1.3. I'm gonna do a nice coat of sealer on this. Now, I had mentioned that this is D8 and 500 grit, right? So that's like the perfect grit, that and red Scotch Brite, for a urethane sealer or an epoxy base sealer like this. What this is going to do is basically give us the best base coat adhesion that we can get, a beautiful uniform surface to lay our base coat down on. Not to mention that this is just going to give us one solid color over all of this. That's just a nice gray, but that's going to just ensure that this part matches that part, that matches that part, that matches the whole truck, right? So anytime you're doing a paint job, if you did it to this part, you're gonna do it to that part, you're gonna do it to that part. You just follow that process. Then when you put the car together, everything matches, everything looks fantastic. So let's get some sealer on this. All right, so here's one coat of sealer. That's all I'm gonna do. Just one solid, nice wet coat. Went inside where I had nice breaks, so all our color's gonna match. Big thing, make sure you get both of them little rails. It's gonna be kind of a pain in the butt. Once this stuff is dry, you can kind of see it matting out on this side. This stuff lays out just beautifully. It goes totally matte. If you need to denib this, you can. So I've got the fuel door back here. Tailgate should be really flashing. Yeah, it's really flashing off. See how it's nice and wet there, and it's kind of flashing and dull over here. It's gonna look like this the entire way on everything. So I'm gonna let this stuff flash off. We'll get some Sunfire Pro premium base coat gun, and yeah, we'll get our first coat of base on this. All right, so all this stuff has totally matted out, and we are ready to spray some color on this. Like I said, this is Sunfire Pro Premium Base Coat. There's two different levels. There's standard base coat, there's premium. Premium is basically just less watered down, so it covers a little bit better. I am going to do roughly 3 coats on everything in here, so I will need multiple cups of this, not a big deal. I am going to use my DV1 base coat. The reason I like this gun is it just lays everything down very, very smooth, so we're going to do that. Essentially, this first coat, I'm not going to spray too wet. It's going to look patchy. It's going to look stripy. It's just not going to look perfect your first coat. You do not want to overload the surface with solvents, right? Waterborne base coat, you want to just smash it on wet. Get it on, get it out. This will take a little bit more time in terms of like getting it applied because I am going to do 3 coats. If I was spraying waterborne, I could just do, you know, my wet on wet, double coat, come back, drop coat it. That's not how you can do this stuff. So we're gonna take our time. We're gonna make sure that this base coat lays out beautiful. If we have any nibs, I'll show you how to fix that. I doubt we're going to have any, but if we do, I'll show you. But yeah, without talking too goddamn much, I'm gonna go set my pressure at the wall, back over here, and spray some base. All right, so this is one coat. I don't know if you guys can tell, it's definitely not covered. It might look like it on camera, but it's not. Covered pretty damn well though. In here you can kind of see. It's not quite covered, but we're getting there. Like I said, I'm gonna do 3 coats of base coat, all right? And I am using my DV1. This thing just works great. But yeah, it's not covered. I'm not going for coverage. I just wanted to lay it down as uniform as I possibly could and not get too damn wet, okay? Oh yeah, you know what I forgot? I need to do a coat on that fuel door. Let me do that real quick, but I'll bring you guys back in here once I have 3 coats of base coat on this, show you what it looks like. I mean, it's really a pretty easy process. As long as you keep a tight overlap, and I mean, you just make sure everything's clean too. Like clean your spray guns out really good, strain your paint. This is a very, very, very clean base coat. So let me get 3 coats on this stuff, turn y'all back on, and then we'll get to clearing it. And there's nothing to this, you guys. Like tight overlap, take your time, and just make sure that everything just lays down smooth, and then build your coats up. If it's not covering very well, don't stress, don't pound it on, just build it up. If it's more transparent than this, that's all right. Like just slow yourself down, allow it to flash, layer it up, do another coat until it's nice and covered. And I'll show you guys too before we clear. We'll bust out the sun gun and make sure that we have coverage on everything. All right, so before I go to clear, I'd just like to run around the sun gun and just make sure that everything is looking nice and even. And I'm gonna tell you right now, this base coat looks beautiful. So basically what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hit my flash cycle, which will ramp the temperature up for 15 minutes. And this is all wet, so I just sprayed this. But once this stuff is totally flashed off, we will go ahead and top it with some CC250 and make it a glass house, you know. All right, so our base coat is totally flashed off, totally dry, ready to be clear coated. I'm going to use my DB1 clear coat. I have 19 PSI. This is CC250 clear. US 5 reducer, so it's a warm temp reducer. It's gonna be nice and slow. So everything lays out beautiful on this one. I did fail to mention that I did use slow reducer in this base coat and in the sealer. Reason being is I just want this stuff to have enough time to lay out beautiful. Slow reducer with solvent base coat typically is my go-to. If it was middle of the summer, I'd be using extra slow, you know. So yeah, not talking too god awful much again. I'm gonna just go ahead and clear coat this. The reason I picked this DB1 clear, I get the flattest finish with this gun, so that's what I'm going for. Since I'm painting the whole truck, I want it to just be slick, you know what I mean? So let's make it that way. All right, guys, that's this part of the job done, right? So what's the takeaway? Solvent base coat is fairly easy to use as long as you take your time. Do not rush this process, all right? In between coats, it's like I told you guys when you're spraying your base coat, you don't need to spray it too god-awful wet. Just allow it to flash, layer your color up. When it comes to clear coat, tight overlap, use a gun that's worth a damn. DB1 clear for me just produces the flattest results, so that's why I like it. And slow reducers. If you don't have heat in your garage of any kind and it's, say it's 60, 70 degrees, you're gonna wanna step down to like a medium or a fast reducer. Just, you need to pick, like each product will tell you what temperature ranges it's for. Pick the appropriate products and you'll have no problems. Honestly, this was easier than if I used waterborne base. As long as you take your time, it comes out beautiful. Like all of this stuff, it's still flowing. This tailgate is practically a sheet of glass. That's insane. Bedsides are still flowing and they look amazing. This whole truck is gonna look fantastic. I'll make sure when I get this whole thing together, I'll do a walk around outside once it's all cleaned up, once Brittany does her thing to it. This guy's gonna be ecstatic when he sees his pickup truck, and I'm excited to give it back to him. So anyway, thanks for hanging out with me today. This was a partial part of a complete on a second gen Dodge diesel with solvent base coat. All
right, so I'll see y'all when I pull this thing in to do the cab as well. I'll make a video on that. So yeah, I'll catch y'all in the next one.